Brian Skiba, thank you for joining us at Kicking the Seat to talk about your latest film, Guns of Redemption, which is now in theaters and on demand from Shout Studios. How are you?
Doing all right. I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me in.
All right. Well, a few years back, the LA Times referred to you as a prolific genre filmmaker, and that's undeniable considering you have several independent films of all different kinds coming out each year, it seems. Guns of Redemption marks, I think, your third Western since 2023, and I wonder, what's your fascination with telling these particular kinds of stories today?
I mean, the Western genre I've been fascinated with since I was a kid. I mean, it's just, my mom bought me the Good, Bad, and Ugly on vinyl. And so I'd sit there and I'd play that song, the songs over and over again. I just loved that kind of feel and horses and guns. I had a horse when I was a kid, so those that there's a mysticism and there's a romanticism with the old west, and horses and guns and you know just being the lone man and then the stories, you find that there wasn't a lot of black and white in the old west. There was a lot of grays, and there was a lot of good guys doing bad and bad guys doing good, and I mean and so those stories I feel like are strong. I feel like they're strong foundations for great film.
For sure. And westerns have long been allegories for good versus evil, but Guns of Redemption takes that to, I think, its literal roots, setting up Casper Van Dien's Luke as the noble but troubled gunslinger protecting at first his newfound community and then a group of exploited young women, from Jeff Fahey's General Bork, who at one point is framed with a literal poster of Mephistopheles in the background. Were these explicitly religious themes in the script, or were they built on during filming, or both?
Is both. Is both. I mean, Keith hit a little bit of the religious themes in his script. It felt, it was definitely very like it was, the story was very, a man seeking a penitent man, so a man seeking repentance and excuse me. And so when I saw those themes, I was like, wow, we could visually really kind of feed on these themes as well. And so we started visually feeding on the themes, the burned out church, the artwork of Bork, things like that, which really help feed kind of that visual, you know, religious mysticism. So.
And the authenticity that you bring to the production. I'm thinking specifically of the covered wagon that we spend a lot of time with, that the kind of the caravan of girls are trapped in and then kind of in control of as the movie goes on. Did you rent those? Did you build them? I don't know. I felt like I was like I traveled back in time to watch some of these sequences, and I just wondered how you pulled that off to, again today.
So yeah, the wagon was a flatbed wagon and we built it up. We built it up so we did the bars, and actually the owner of the wagon did, because he wanted a jailer's wagon. So we went to him and he's like, "Hey man, I'll change this wagon into a jailer's wagon. You guys just pay for like, parts and stuff." So he totally built that wagon up the way it was, and then our art guys did all the artwork on it. But yeah, I mean, that didn't exist. We had to create it. Um, so.
And I guess how did you, for all of the details, and you've filmed a number of westerns already, so where do you go to as your authenticity gauge, to say this, I feel like I'm placing the audience in a time and place.
Um, yeah, I mean that's tough with westerns, because I think westerns, I think they're a lot dirtier than we portray them. I think they're a lot dirtier. I think people were just a lot dirtier. I think not as kind. I feel like we've definitely modernized the time. We've taken the time and gave everybody straight teeth and clean clothes and things like that, and it wasn't that way. And so I think you unfortunately, and it's weird because you do have like the purists. I mean, I know plenty of guys that sit there and they're like historians and they know exactly what saddle, and what gun and holster and, and that's not right and this and that. And I think at some point you just got to give it up and be like, we're just telling a story, and clearly, we're not going to be in. We want to be as close to realism, but it's definitely, this is not a realist piece. I'm not trying to recreate exactly what it was like in the Old West, where everybody would have crooked teeth with cavities and unwashed clothes and unkept hair, and every actor would hate me because they look horrible. So uh, yeah, so it's an interesting walk, and at the end of the day, you just got to have a little bit of a thick skin as a filmmaker, because there are going to be those guys that are like, no, that's not the right saddle. But
Hey, as a film critic, I understand not being able to watch something and not pick it apart. But I got to ask, your friends who are the historians, have they watched your final films and have they been able to kind of lose themselves in the story, like get over that nitpickiness?
yeah, yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I feel like the first Western I did was supernatural based Western, and they didn't like the supernatural element. They were like, hey man, how about you do a straight Western? You're good, but do a straight Western. So this is my answer to all of them. This is the straight Western. So.
All right. Um, so Jeff Fahey was born to play the nasty General Bork, but I never pictured Casper Van Dien as the grizzled, shell-shocked, reluctant hero. It was a wonderful surprise, and I wonder, what did you see in his filmography or his audition that cemented him as Luke in your mind?
Um, it's just knowing. I've known Casper for, I think, 8 or 9 years now, and we did a film together called The Second, where he played actually the villain, and so it was like, and we've always been like, let's do something else together, and Casper is just a phenomenal actor. He's committed. He works hard at his craft. He loves his roles. He loves Johnny Rico. I mean, and I think, some people discredit him for that. And it's like, no, man, Johnny Rico's iconic. You can't, he champions all his roles, that what he does. And that's what I loved about Casper and love about him, is that he comes in and he champions the roles. So he came in and he championed Luke. And so when it was mentioned to me that he was up for the part, by the studio, I was like, man, that's perfect. I couldn't ask for a better Luke. I mean, he's just because he is that guy. He's kind, he's giving, and so I think he played the unwilling hero very well.
I agree. It was again, it was a really nice surprise. Um, I want to ask because I kick myself if I didn't ask about this one specific shot that happens later in the film. No spoilers, but there's a moment when Bork's second in command, a guy named Dog, is pushed backward down a hill, and we see the actor falling backward while simultaneously drawing his gun and shooting like towards the camera. It's something I don't think I've ever seen executed outside of like comic books because it seems impossible. How did you get that shot, and how long did it take?
It's a great shot. Somebody else today was like, "That's the 300 shot." I was like, yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, I enjoy genre filmmaking, and that's James Logan. He's actually the stunt coordinator, and I was operating the camera, and we were standing on the hill, and I was like, James, I was like, how about we do a thing where he kicks you in the chest and you just fly backwards? And he looked down the hill. He was like, all right. you know and I was like, all right, sweet. And so I was like, look, and I was like, I'm gonna sit right here. And we had, we had the greatest armor in the world, and we checked all our blanks and everything. We did the process right. And so we were using these little, they're called quarter loads. It's basically just gives you a puff of smoke, and that's it. And I was like, look, I want you to shoot me. I said, just shoot me. I mean, I was like, you jump backwards and shoot me. And and so and I had glasses and a mask on and stuff, so he wouldn't hurt me or anything. And so he did. The first time he does it, he jumps backwards. He kind of messes drawing the gun, gets it halfway out and shoots me, right in the crotch. It was way too low, shoots me down there. I was like, let's try it again. And we got it on the third try. And we did it again and it was off aimed. And then the third try, we hit it and we filmed it in slow motion. And when we watched it back and we were just like, man, that's epic. It was just such a cool, epic shot. But it's really just I think you just got to find moments like that in films like this where you can actually like, you know, just feed the audience a little wow, a little pizzazz. So
I have to hard disagree on the 300 shot because if that person was referring to the this is Sparta moment where the guy gets kicked down the well, that guy
that's what
wasn't drawing any weapons. He was just
yeah,
falling back down a well.
just falling. Exactly. We added a whole new element to it, drawing a six shooter and shooting right into the camera. I mean, come on. Um,
Were there any other stunts or moments that come to mind that were kind of created in the moment, whether you were inspired by a location or something somebody said that you were able to create something great out of, just a happy accident?
um, yeah, there was. I mean, the Liz, the character who likes to sing a lot, initially we didn't have much singing in the movie, but when she auditioned, we didn't have any singing in the movie. But when she auditioned, she we discovered she was a singer. I discovered she was a singer, and I asked her to sing, an old hymn. She sang it. It was beautiful, and I was like, man, this would be something really to feed on in the film. Is have these moments in the wagon where she's singing to the other ladies that are trapped in with her, and I thought it would be very emotional. And so I was talking to Jeff Fahey about it, and he was like, wait a minute. He's like, let me write the song. Let me write the song. And so Jeff writes the first time she sings, because the other song is
It was
amazing.
Amazing Grace, right?
Yeah. But the first song she sings in the wagon is actually original piece written by Jeff. And,
Wow.
and just magical. It just turned out so great. And then yeah, and then the Amazing Grace sing was again, it just, we did it twice, and she actually did four different musical numbers, but we only went with two. It felt like anything more was too much, but um it really turned out really wonderful.
And I think the same can be said for the film. So thank you for hanging out and spending some time talking about Guns of Redemption. And also, best of luck with all those irons you've got in the fire. I don't know how you do it, but congratulations on all your success.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Take care.
All right, you too. Hey everyone, Ian here. I know, long time no see, but if you like the video you just watched, feel free to subscribe to Kicking the Seat right here, and also check out the playlist and recommended video right here. Thanks for watching.